Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this YouTube video today. And today I want to talk to you about the difference between the Area Council land and FCDA properties. Right. So in this video, we'll be diving into the nitty-gritty of these two types of documents and what to look out for when purchasing land that have these documents. So the first thing first is, what is title documents? Because these documents are both title documents for land. Title documents are basically documents that show that you are the owner of a property and this property was allocated to you by either the minister in Abuja or a governor, or in terms of area council lands, we are talking about the local government chairman. So that's basically what title documents are, right? So in this case, we have area council and we have FCDA title documents. So what is FCDA title documents? FCDA title documents are documents basically allocated by the minister, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, right? The minister has powers to allocate lands in Nigeria, and those allocation papers are what are referred to as FCDA title documents. So, for instance, if the minister allocates you 2 hectares of lands in Karsana, for instance, what is going to come, or the document that will be issued to you after the offer of the allocation, offer of terms of the allocation, is your FCDA RO of O first, before if you can upgrade to a C of O based on if you meet the conditions set, right? While the area council land basically is just lands allocated by the local government chairman, right? So most people always think, oh, is this safe to buy an area council land or is it safe to buy an FCDA land? Okay, proud before now, local government chairmans were allowed to allocate lands in Abuja, right? But that changed because there was a landmark case that was decided that said only state governments have the authority to allocate land. So the policy changed the land allocation system in Abuja such that lands now have to be allocated by the minister, right? So now what happens to those lands that were allocated prior before this policy, right? Are they going to revoke all the titles? No, because in some areas people had built their houses there, people had already settled there, so it was unreasonable to revoke those titles. So that is why you still have area council titles, in the market alongside FCDA allocations. It is that decision that created a problem on whether to buy FCDA lands or area council lands. So what I like to say is the truth is both lands are actually valid title, because while FCDA is the strongest title, given by the minister, right, which is the highest authority and the one who by law, has been licensed to allocate lands in Abuja. Those lands that were allocated by local governments were also incorporated into the Abuja master plan. They were registered by AGIS, which is Abuja Geographical Information System, right? And for the owners of the area council lands to be recognized, by FCDA, they were asked to regularize their lands with FCDA, right? So those owners were asked to go to FCDA, present certain documents, and regularize their lands, right? So those regularized lands are also lands that you can, in all honesty, purchase, right? The lands that were regularized, before the the dates that was given by the minister, right? So those lands are valid titles. Those lands can be purchased. The only problem is you buying an area council land in this day and age that does not have, a regularization document. What this means is this land is uncharted, it's not registered with AGIS, and there's a serious problem if you decide to buy such a property. Well, basically, the difference between FCD and area council lands is that FCDA, lands were allocated by the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Area council lands were allocated by the local government chairman. Right now, the local government chairman does not have the right to allocate lands anymore, just the minister. But lands that were allocated before the change in this policy, you understand, and regularized with the FCDA are still valid lands to purchase in Abuja. So thank you for this video. Thank you for coming to our YouTube channel. I hope you learned something today about the difference between the FCDA and the Area Council land.